Nah, I done grew up around some people living their life in bottles. Granddaddy had the golden flask, back door bigger day in Chicago. Some people like the way it feels, some people want to kill their sorrows.
All right, everybody, we are here for Game 2, Hammers Esports versus Ace Gaming. What a fantastic Game 1 between these two teams we just had, ImPERium. It was very neck and neck for a majority of the game. In the end, Ace were able to just turn around an absolutely fantastic fight. That was such an exciting game to watch. It was so back and forth constantly between the two teams. And I think one of the big reasons that is so is because Hammers did play a little bit aggressive early on. They knew they had to with the Grumpjaw and the Fortress. And I think against a team like Ace, it's very difficult to play for the late game. You know, Ace very aggressive early on. And if you play too passive, Ace is just going to build a lead and walk over you through the whole game. So I liked the draft on both sides. In the end, though, Ace just... Ace is such a tough team to beat.
They have so much expertise, so much experience, and so much knowledge, you know, and fantastic back team with the one and only Sule, who is their coach, and just such vast knowledge. But anyway, you know, let's talk about this draft so far. The somewhat typical bans, not going to go into that too much, but we do see first pick coming out from Hammers is Tony. Ace seem to be hovering over this Flicker. Maybe there's a reason why Flicker has been somewhat banned so far in this game. And Flicker has been picked up first. Flicker right now, DeiNomine is actually quite flexible in position around the map. Can be used as a captain, but where I think Flicker is strongest right now is actually in that jungle position with a pulse weave, with maybe an aftershock, and then tank defense, like similar, like the Fortress can be done, like we saw in the previous game. Because his kit gives him a lot of CC, a lot of slow, that the pulse weave just elevates that a little bit higher, and it allows Flicker to become stronger in this game. But Ace followed up with the Melee, and then we do see once again Finn being picked up by Hammers, looking to be that priority captain. I'd like to see a different captain on board from the N18s, but time will tell. Celeste looking to be also picked up by Sino. The Celeste worked well. It was played nicely by, but no, Baron is now picked up, looking to you know, maintain that strong bottom lane weapon power carry DeiNomine.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. As we have the Baron come through, it's kind of a difficult choice to say if I want to lean on favor saying I like the pick, versus I think the pick has potential. Because I definitely think the pick has some potential, but I don't like it. Specifically into the Maylene, Flicker, and what is now a Lance. I think Baron fits better into like a pocket pit slot where you know you don't have a lot of danger, especially due to some changes to Baron's jump jets over the course of time. In specific regarding the anti-stun potential of it. And that's kind of where I see a lot of risk here. Okay, so now we have, you know, the Flicker with the slow and the root and even the invisibility to get, you know, people like the Lance or the Maylene into a situation where they can follow up with a root onto the Baron and prevent him from using the jump jets, or even lock him down after he's used the jump jets. So that's where it's going to be a little bit difficult to me. And Hammers, pretty consistent lineup here on the draft they wanted to go with. Ace Gaming changed a few things up. We do have the Vox returning and the Maylene returning, but the Flicker coming through is definitely going to be a fun one to see out of Sweetbox, who, you know, we typically see playing those captains in the top lane, looking onto, looking, you know, to go. I get just, it's not like a, you know, obviously he's not playing a hyper carry. He's just being kind of a bruiser, in your face, utility, almost secondary tank.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where Flicker, I feel, works best right now. But I want to touch upon the Grumpjaw pick that came out from Hammers. I believe it will be a top lane Grumpjaw. I think Kat would have been a stronger pick in this situation. The reason why is because she has her own stun. She has the Storm Guard, which is able to negate and give that little bit of splashback damage. And I feel she would have aided stronger in protecting the Baron, which is who you want to protect, instead of the Grumpjaw. The Grumpjaw is going to be good for a nice early game, which Hammers kind of need. But when you're talking about that late stage in the game and Baron needing to be protected for that, I feel Kath would have been a bit stronger. But time will tell as we're within the first minute of this game.
Yeah, Flicker right now is actually an absolute beast, so it'll be fun to watch that. Hammers now have a tough decision: chase the kill or save their jungle. It looks like they're going to pick up first blood onto Nation. That one's going to be going over to Archaic. And Hammers, they started out last game with first blood too. However, last game they traded 1-for-1. So that is one thing to note. But Ace, they may not be getting that one kill back this time, but they're getting the weapon buff and the gold oak out of the Hammers jungle, and that's gonna be looking pretty good for Ace, despite having lost that first kill.
Yeah, they're about 300 to 400 gold behind, and that might not be much denominate, but it's where it starts. It starts at 300, it goes to 1,000.
Level might be in a rough spot here as the Surrey Strike comes out. That's going to be a kill on the board for the side of Ace, and even more of the Hammers jungle getting cleaned out. So Ace, they are even up on gold pretty much at this point. So they've got to be feeling pretty comfortable despite having given up that first blood. And I'm definitely interested to see how this one goes out. Tassa last game played absolutely phenomenal on the Blackfeather. We're seeing him on Maylene this time around. And again, I love Maylene games. I think they are absolutely fantastic. I think she's so unique. And she can set up a lot of really awesome plays for your team, both with her route from the light ribbons, as well as just her ability to flicker in and out of sight.
Exactly.
So it's definitely going to be a fun one to see a player like Tassa coming up on a pretty reasonably high skill cap hero like Maylene.
Yeah, and also even Maylene, coming out by Dark Light onto Casino being nicely protected by the Fiend. Dark Line is really having to jump out of the way because these sweet packs going in.
They are taking out with Peterson. They are on to Vox here. The taunt comes through. Can they find the kill though? Oh man, that Sonic Zoom is gonna get Vox on out of harm's way, and obviously a helpful use for the flask there. And obviously huge shout out to Beinglory. I've asked for a long time for the flask to be a visible cooldown, and I see they are a visible cooldown. So that's definitely something I'm excited about. Sweetbox tries to get the steal there out of the jungle, unable to secure it. Baron was able to get that weapon buff. Celeste able to pick up the kill, and now Hammers, they're trying to get some of their jungle back, and they're doing it by means of taking the Ace Gaming jungle.
Yeah, but level is under, not looking to push too much as you do see Maylene and Sky working together. But yeah, I want to talk, you mentioned about the Maylene. Maylene also as a hero right now is very balanced, I feel, so which always helps in terms of drafting. Well,
yeah, got a skirmish break down here. Level might drop. He's going to can't root the Finn though, so Allie Peterson will make it out alive. And just like that, when Hammers were able to get some jungle back out of the side of Ace Gaming, Ace pick up a second kill for themselves, evening things up there, and they're going to take away even more of Hammers jungle at this point. So, returning to the mid lane here, this Celeste has to get online. The Baron has a lot of potential if the enemy is bunched up, and the Celeste has a lot of potential if the enemy is bunched up. But I feel like Celeste is going to be that kind of true hyper carry for the side of Hammers. BlueStack's going to be looking more to poke around the fight, and then maybe go in for almost like an execution style attack with the double shot coming out of the jump jets if a target gets low enough, or if the enemies group up in just a way that the jump jets make sense.
Exactly, that's what Baron has to be. Baron, at least with the jump jets perk of that double basic attack, you know, you only do it from a frontline point of view, from, you could say, from a suicidal you know, engagement point of view. You only do that you know, when you're guaranteed to get a kill, because if you don't and you die, which is going to be the most notable,
which is going to happen against a flicker and a lance.
Exactly.
If you don't jump jets at the right time, you are going to die.
Exactly, and like you said, when you do that, when you're frontline, when we do see Ali Peters being caught out quite nicely.
Yeah, that's kill going over to the side of Ace Gaming. We're almost at the 6-minute mark here, and again, this is Ace. Every single game we've seen so far, just before Ghostwing spawns, they group together as 5, they start making that rotation down, and it's consistent, and it works for them just about every time. That kill isn't going to be quite as effective because obviously the death timer is done, Finn is coming back, but we still see Ace here as a group. They're poking their head out, they're trying to find a pick, and this might be where they get it. Archaic takes quite a bit of damage, Level does take a little bit. See the forward barrage coming through, just trying to find a target, trying to get a little bit of damage down so that the rest of the team knows, hey, there's an enemy here, and that looks like Maylene almost drops there, does make it on out, and it looks like both teams just going to head back their own way. Hammers were able to get their crystal buff this time around, so that's going to be looking good for them. Darkblonde, about half health, but as the Lance, you know, he's pretty tanky, so he should be just fine. We don't have any stuff coming out on the side of Hammers yet. Level still trying to get that level 6 mark. Zeno does have the Solar Storm, but I think the real opportunity for Hammers to make plays is going to be based almost entirely around Level, as Hammers, they've started up this Ghostwing, and that's just resulted in the side of Ace pushing in that top turret.
Well, that's what activated the Ghostwing push coming out from Hammers, because they saw that Nation and Tassa are in the top lane, so it's essentially 5v3 situation. So there's no real way that the Ace were going to contest it, but they do lose one turret. They're going to lose two. Second turret. Overall, I still think that's a positive from Hammers, because, you know, yeah, okay, it's 2 turrets gone down in the top lane, but if you look in the bottom lane, turret is being secured by Baron while still having that Ghostwing. So if they can now look to take advantage of that Ghostwing buff, they can then you know, win the next team fight. Well, I want to talk about the builds real quick. DeiNomine, Zeno has got the Shatterglass. I really like that. It's pure raw damage, which is where you want to go if you're going to become that hyper carry for your team. So that's really nicely done by them. A fountain coming out straight away by Ali Peters as first item to really give that real team-wide defense, that shot of health. Plus we've again come out from Level, going along for Aftershock afterwards. I feel once he builds up the Aftershock, tank defense will be needed on his team. But talking about that team fight potentially being ensued, as Ali Peterson is level 6 and has that force to cord available.
Yeah, and right here we're getting to that great force to cord, double stun coming through. Hammers are able to pick up 1, they're able to pick up 2. Can they find another? Unfortunately, they do fall a little bit shy onto the box there. The Ghostwing buff is gone at this point, so they don't have the additional damage on their side, and they don't have any minions to push the turret. And this is kind of why I was a little bit concerned about the Ghostwing Imperium. They lost out on the 2 turrets up top, and while yes, you can get value on trading that back, Archaic almost gets the kill onto box, not quite able to. Anyway, Hammers, they weren't able to get anything out of the Ghostwing buff. They did win that last fight. They did now get the turret down, but the entire time they had that Ghostwing buff, they did not capitalize on it. Nobody rotated as a team to capitalize on that bonus damage or sustainability. Baron was unable to get the bottom turret down because it's just too early in the game for Baron to have a large amount of sustainable damage. So in the end, I feel like Ace Gaming took a little bit more of an edge there. And you know, we're talking about it a little bit earlier that, you know, the top lane is usually not the one in these higher levels of gameplay that gets pushed. But that does give Ace a little bit more control over the map.
Exactly.
So that's kind of where the trade-off is here. Was the Ghost Swing worth it? Was it not? Only time will tell. As of right now, if Hammers get another Ghost Swing buff, I would just like to see them as a team rotate, capitalize on it. If you know that there's two members that aren't going to mess with you because they're taking down those top turrets, maybe send one person back to dissuade that, but then as a team, you need to capitalize on Celeste's turret.
Definitely, I just want to point out that Crucible was activated in anticipation of the Force Accord coming out, so that is down on the side of Ace. So this should be the trigger for Hammers to have a hard engage. They need to. Ace are backing off a little bit, still keeping it as a 5-man team, but with that Crucible down, the Force Accord is going to be at its most effective. They need to realize, but it is on the Force. I just realized.
It wasn't in anticipation of the.
It was.
It was to block the Force Accord.
I didn't know. My humble apologies. I didn't realize the Force Accord was actually, you know, activated. I just saw the Crucible come out, and I presumed it wasn't activated. So my humble apologies for that. But yeah, you know, Ace definitely have a small advantage over this when you're looking at the gold difference. It's still only at about 400 gold difference, so it's still even. And Hammers are keeping them on their toes. They're keeping Ace on their toes. They're playing their comp quite nicely. You have Clockwork on the Celeste, so those Helios are coming out. Solar Storm rips through and does a little bit damage onto Dark Dawn.
Oh, beautiful pull there onto the box. Can they find the kill? Oh my goodness! Box got obliterated. Here comes the Ion Cannon, not quite able to pick up another kill, and Baron is going to be the one to fall. We see that Moonflow coming through strong from the Flicker. Level is on the run. Can he make it out alive? Oh my goodness! So close, but Hammers pick up a kill onto Sky. They pick up a kill onto the Flicker as well. And just like that, another trade goes in favor of Hammers. Looks like they're going to start up the Ghost Wing again. I think this is smart, and I think, once again, if they're going for this, they need to capitalize off of the buff. They can't get the buff and then let it go to waste. Celeste is down here, full health. She's got the Heliogenesis set up so that she can, you know, potentially get some vision for the team of enemies coming by. They're going to get the health buff here, and this is an excellent time for the side of Hammers now. They just need to pick where they want to go. It looks like they want to go into the bottom, finish off that turret that Baron started up, and this is going to get them a little bit of gold off of the buff coming out of the Ghost Wing, as well as now as a team, because of the way all the waves are pushed, they can come into the mid lane as a group of 5 and look for a pick and maybe look for more off the back.
This is exactly what they're heading towards. They're looking to clear their CP buff, get that, make sure that the Celeste secures. That's really nice team-wide, you know, working team-wide communication. Make sure that it is picked up for that Celeste just to make sure that damage is as strong as possible for Sino. That though looks to be the focus. Maybe they're trying to bait Ace into a team fight. They feel like they
have the buff still.
Yes, they have the buff, so, you know, time will tell, but it could easily be stolen with the boot up.
Yeah, that one is going to go over to Hammers as Level picks it up. Here the fight breaks out. Death from above is down, but Nation taking quite a massive amount of damage. BlueStacks is going to fall as well. Tassa now on the run. Cino's going to find a kill onto the Flicker. 3 for 1 for Hammers. They've got themselves the Black Claw as well, who is marching down the lane. Here comes the rest of Hammers to kind of help push this along. Now, different than when Ace Gaming has got Black Claw in our past couple games, I don't think Hammers is going to be able to close this one out on one push. However, this is going to give a lot of control. Huge Force Accord coming from Ali Peterson there. double force to core, double stun, and just like that, Hammers may actually have a chance to close this one out here. That's Tassa down, who is on the Maylene, as well as Box down, and it's a Crystal Box who's looking to play off of being able to get that resonance bounce around the fin. Black Claw below half, most of Hammers at half or below. So they're going to go ahead and back on out of that one. Like I said, I don't think Hammers are in a far enough lead or even late enough in the game to finish this off. But that was an excellent push that they just made. They've grouped together as a team. They're now looking to force this wave up underneath the turret. That doesn't get them the turret, but it does give Ace one more thing to think about. Sino might get caught out here. Can he make it out alive? Zuri Strike goes wide. Blast is just trying to turn around, get some damage. Tassa is in. Silence onto Sino. Can he make it out alive? It's so close. Allie Peterson is one. Oh no, this is not looking good for the side of Hammers as Ace picks up 2. BlueStack's going to be the 3rd to fall, and Ghostwing now landing back on the map. This is going to be another kill going over to the side of Ace as they find Archaic on that Tony. They are certainly going to get this free Ghostwing, and they are going to look to group up and try to get a return push going.
Yeah, where this went wrong for Hammers was up until the point that the Black Claw was perfect, and up until the Black Claw ending was perfect. They actually disengaged from that Black Claw beautifully, but what they needed to realize was that Baron was up in the top lane pushing the wave. Ace knew this. Hammers hung around in the bottom lane. They should have poured it back as quickly as possible. Instead, they hung around, they stayed too long in that area. Ace hard engaged, they took advantage of it being a 5v4 situation. Credit to Hammers, they kept Sino alive for so long. Well, actually, he stayed alive the whole team fight, but at the expense of the rest of his team going down, just because it was a 4v5 situation. So Hammers, don't rest on your laurels. You're winning this game so far. You're getting the better of Ace. Just really strong experience side. Their builds are really nice. I love the Shatterglass Clockwork Broken Myth coming out from the Celeste. I do like the Soreblade Tornado Trigger, but I'd like to see a Tyrant's Monocle coming out from BlueStacks. However, it does seem like he's building towards maybe a Breaking Point or even another Tornado Trigger. Time will tell. But either way, I do like what's coming out from Hammers. They're working quite nicely together. They're really challenging Ace. Ace, you know, their strengths are going to lie in, you know, hard engaging and focusing on Sino, shutting that Celeste down, Sky getting on the backline, avoiding the core collapse, and then with that strong Soreblade Poison Shield Breaking Point, able to rip through the lack of defense that Sino has. Team fights possibly going to happen nearly 80 minutes into the game. That Ghostwing buff is not on Ace anymore, I believe. So that is a bit of a waste as Black Claw is landed. So we'll see who will possibly win this next fight, as Black Claw will be the prime focus of the week.
Yeah, Ace was able to get the one mid turret down with their buff. They didn't get a double turret push, and as you mentioned, with Black Claw back on the map. Now here comes the Mooncloak. There's not a lot of vision down from Hammers. This might be a huge play for Ace. Here they come. Can they get it going? The Solar Storm does rip through. Here's where Baron does accelerate with Celeste. There were 2 squishy targets lined up and knocked down. There's the flicker going down as well. Level comes in over the wall. BlueStack living on a sliver. If Hammers can find the kill onto this box, they'd be in a golden position. And there it is, 20 seconds on each of the members, 20 seconds or more on each of the members of Ace. Oh man, oh, can Hammers make this push though?
I don't think they can.
Hurt. They have the armory, and Lance is extra special at stalling out, especially against someone like a Celeste. Hammers, they are hammering in the damage onto this turret. Solar Storm and everything are out. A little bit of a flicker there. BlueStacks is down. The Bane Crystal is so low. Hammers did it. They took a game here off of Ace. Excellent split this second decision making out of these guys, as we have a 16-11 victory for the side of the Hammers. Ace, they played exceptionally well. In the end, that last team fight, Ace just lined up for everything for the side of Hammers to go well. And I think part of that was the trigger onto Finn. The Mooncloak came out from the Flicker. They seen Finn, and they started collapsing around Finn, and then realized, oh, Finn's actually, like, really overextended right now. And that's where Sino and BlueStacks were starting to hammer in the damage. And at that point, Ace have committed with the Mooncloak. And unfortunately for them, Maylene and Sky both got stunned underneath a core collapse, underneath a Quibble. There was the Baron raining in damage. There was Celeste raining in damage. And onto squishy targets like that, specifically looking at Maylene with no defense, Tassa got absolutely obliterated off the map. And because he was stunned, he was unable to dip into the shadows to avoid any of that damage.
Yeah, and, you know, totally agree with you. And yeah, just that last team fight was beautiful. But the MVP of that game, from what I saw, was 100% Sino. His positioning on the Celeste was phenomenal. He was on the back line. When he felt like he was a little bit too much on the front line that he was going to potentially get engaged on, he backed off. He backed off hard. He then returned with the Helios, with the Solar Storms, with the core collapses. His execution of the hard carry mid lane was definitely the hard carry that we expected, and definitely 100% MVP for me. But that's not to say that the rest of the team really protected him, because they did. Tony was fantastic with the Bada Boom, especially with the Atlas. I love the Atlas pickup just to really get onto Nation and just to slow that Sky down a little bit. And then you had Grumpjaw with that stuff, looking to get into the front line, looking to really just cause that damage onto Ace. Hammers, they have a point to prove, and they are going to go into VPL season with a lot of confidence, with a lot of learning under their belt, because even though they won DeiNomine, I'm sure they will walk away learning a lot, playing against their strong Ace team. And Ace have definitely been slightly knocked off their perch, and it was really exciting to see what can potentially happen in the future of a potential World Championships down the line.
Yeah, and you did give a big shout out to Sino there, but I do think our supports need some love.
Okay.
Allison several times in that game was able to recognize off of a glimpse of vision, either in a lane or from a camp, that Darklon was not around. And, you know, specifically the one pull in the choke point where they were able to get Vox and Maylene into a forced forward, into a Quibble, into a well set up core collapse from Sino. That really, the Finn really helped them set up a lot of plays here. And so I don't want that to go unnoticed. There were definitely quite a, looked like Ace were going to start taking control. But Hammers, they found themselves quite a few picks. And I think it was absolutely phenomenal of them to recognize when they could get a kill and when they couldn't. They did a much better job this time around with their decision making. So I think that was huge for them as we went through this game.
Of course. So I'm excited. You know, Hammers they're the first NA team to take a game, you know, off Ace Gaming, essentially in 5v5.
Well, at least within this what we have so far out of the Ace NA tour, the Ace Gaming NA tour. So we obviously don't know what their other scrims look like. You know, whether they were scrimming, you know, Tribe or, you know, any of the other teams in North America. I think it's Suli's intent to have the teams scrim as many teams as possible.
Of course.
All we can really go off is as of, you know, the 8 games that we're gonna cast for you guys. So. No behind-the-scenes information, unfortunately, for y'all, but, you know, Hammers, excellent games played. Ace, they're sitting pretty right now at a 4-3 3 out of 4 games won, so you know they're feeling pretty comfortable. And I'm excited to see them moving on. You know, again in the games that we cast in our cast Night Imperium, as well as if they do this again. I actually think it's a really cool concept from them, and it gives us a little bit of a taste of that international gameplay before we actually get to it. And you know, while we are getting later in the year, we're still very early in Vainglory 5v5 competitive, so a lot more to look forward to. But if unless you got anything else, Imperium, I think we're going to be getting ready to go into Daria Esports.
Yeah, I'm ready to get into the games against Daria Esports. I'm excited about what is going to happen next.
All right, we'll get Suli to get us up the drafts here, and we'll be into the next series.